Today we discover a story where a quiet life is shattered by an extraordinary secret. Samuel Washington, a humble hospital worker, loses his beloved wife Lorraine, only to find she's left behind not just memories, but a hidden fortune meant to change the world. Shock turns to courage as Samuel faces elite families, social prejudice, and the pressures surrounding his son's high-stakes wedding. In a breathtaking moment, dignity triumphs over wealth, reshaping relationships and forging an unforgettable legacy. Lorraine's fortune becomes a force for good, sparking a foundation that lifts children and unites communities. Grief gives way to hope as ordinary routines transform into lifelong impact, and one small family's love ripples through an entire city. Subscribe and hit like. Our powerful stories add years to your life. Join our Story Lovers Club and let us know in the comments, where are you listening from? Have you ever wondered how destiny can transform a life that seemed lost forever? Imagine a barefoot girl, her feet caked in dust, her eyes peeking shyly through a cracked classroom window, yearning for the world beyond. Shalola didn't know what home was, only the rough comfort of the streets and a mother whose fractured mind drifted in and out of reality. The people called her mother crazy and turned their backs on both of them. Shalola and her mother became invisible, more shadow than flesh, surviving day to day, always overlooked and never invited. But today, everything is different. Now, Skolola sits in a silent classroom, the soft leather of her first real shoes pinching her toes, a pain she gladly bears for the chance of belonging. No longer wandering with nothing, she's under the protection of Chief Maxwell Agu, a man with enough power and wealth to change the outcome of a life forever. On this day, Skolola's mother is far from the crumbling street corners and the echoing voices in her mind. She's receiving compassionate care in one of the country's most advanced psychiatric hospitals, her fate uncertain but hopeful. Skolola steps into a new chapter, now enrolled in one of Lagos's elite private schools, the odds of success stacked higher than ever before. But questions loom in the air. Will her mother find healing in that sterile hospital room? And will Skolola cling to her new opportunities long enough to flourish? Or, as before, will fate be cruel, pulling away the people she relies on, like Auntie Linda did, precisely when she needs them most? Hold tight to your seats and keep your popcorn close. This is a tale that will grip your heart and leave you gasping at the power of compassion and resilience. If you're just joining the journey now, hit subscribe, smash the like button, and let's fuel more stories that change lives. Now step inside a day where every breath hangs heavy, a courtroom where time itself seems to pause and watch. Skolola sits between Chief Agu and Jessica, nerves alive in every limb, her palms slick with sweat, her heart drumming a wild rhythm that echoes in her ears. She wears a simple navy dress, freshly pressed with care by the house staff, a sign of her new life. When she slips on those leather flats, pain shoots through her toes, but comfort is not what matters today. Only the hope of finally being seen. Sholola glances around at the intimidating formalities. The lawyers standing stiff, the reporters with cold eyes, even an old ceiling fan creaking above. In this intimidating world of rules and rituals, she feels impossibly small. Just a street girl, after all. Or is she? Suddenly, her name cuts through the silence. Shalola, says the judge. She flinches, the sound jolting her back to reality. Yes, sir, she whispers, voice barely a breath. This judge is tall, his gray sideburns framing a face made wise by time. Glasses slip down his nose, but his gaze is gentle, softer than Shalola dared hope. Do you know why we're here? Skolola swallows down her anxiety, words pressing up from her chest. Chief Awe wants to adopt me, she replies. The judge nods, leaning in. And how do you feel about that? Her throat tightens, fear and excitement clashing inside. She looks at Chief Awe, who meets her eyes with a quiet, steady nod. The kind of reassurance that says everything will be okay, even when the world shakes beneath you. I feel like I'm finally home, Skolola whispers, barely audible. The judge's eyes warm, and he leans closer. Are you sure you want this? No one is forcing you. Skolola glances to Jessica, whose eyes gleam with unspoken joy. Then she turns to Chief Awe, the man who rescued her from despair, and says, louder, no one forced me. I choose him. A soft rumble of approval sweeps through the room. The judge smiles, flips to the next legal page, and declares, by the authority vested in the state of Lagos, the petition of Chief Maxwell Agu to adopt Skolola is approved. From this day forward, Skolola O is his lawful daughter. The gavel descends, wood striking wood, and somewhere deep within Skolola, old burdens shatter. The walls around her heart, walls built of rejection, finally tumble down. She is no longer forgotten. She's Skolola O, a daughter of love. A declaration in the courtroom reverberates through Skolola's soul, shaping everything she thinks she knows about her life. For a moment, time seems to pause. All the noise of her past, the shouts, the harsh laughter, the hungry nights, fade to distant echoes. Jessica's arms wrap around her in a quick hug, her perfume lingering. A scent Skolola now associates with safety and affection. Chief Agu places his large, gentle hand on her trembling shoulder, anchoring her in the present. For the first time, Skolola is surrounded by people who choose her, no matter how stormy her story has been. Cameras flash as journalists try to capture this transformation, a fleeting evidence that miracles can happen, even to the most overlooked. Stepping outside the courtroom, Skolola's world explodes with color. The city is alive, humming with impatient traffic, street vendors calling out in vibrant pidgin, and the steady wave of humanity surges past. Today, Chief Agu's car waits for them, its leather seats promising comfort she never dreamed possible. Jessica opens the door, and Shalola slides into a space so pristine she almost doesn't want to touch anything. There's bottled water in arm's reach, and a soft blanket tucked neatly beside her seat. Little luxuries that whisper, "You belong here." Chief Agu smiles through the rear-view mirror and says, "Ready for a new life, my daughter?" She nods, a hesitant smile pulling at her lips. On the way home, Skalola's thoughts swirl as fast as the sights flashing past her window. She wonders about her mother. Is she safe in the hospital? Will she recover? Remember her? Be proud? These hopes fight with the fear that the past might creep back and steal this new beginning. Jessica senses her unease and squeezes Skalola's hand tightly, saying, "We'll visit her soon. I promise." Skalola leans into that comfort. She stares out at the busy streets, the children playing between tangled market stalls, remembering the nights she and her mother huddled for warmth, making games out of scraps and laughter out of tears. Now, for the first time, something inside her dares to believe in tomorrow. The Agu residence is nothing like Skalola's old life. Towering walls circle lush gardens, brimming with flowers as vibrant as her dreams. The gate swings open as their car approaches, and uniformed staff greet her with wide smiles. Jessica gives Skalola a gentle nudge. "Go on," she whispers, encouraging the girl to take her first step into a real home. Skalola hesitates, heart pounding, but then she feels Chief Agu's reassuring presence behind her. As her shoes crunch softly on the gravel, she realizes she is walking into a future full of possibility. Every detail, the golden sunlight spilling on polished floors, the distant laughter from inside, feels like a promise. You are safe. You are welcome. Inside, the house is bustling with activity as staff prepare a special welcome meal in her honor. Skalola inhales the scent of spices and roasting meat, and it almost makes her dizzy. So different from the simple food she scavenged for on the streets. Jessica leads her to a sunlit living room where gifts are stacked on a table and balloons float lazily near the ceiling. Everyone's faces shine with warmth and hope, and for the first time, Skalola feels like she belongs in a family. Chief Agu gives a toast, his voice proud and steady. Today, Lagos gains a remarkable new daughter. Skalola, may your journey here be filled with love, courage, and endless chances. Everyone claps, and Skalola finally allows herself to smile fully. A true, radiant smile she thought she'd never find. After the last echoes of applause die away, Skalola finds herself engulfed in a whirlwind of introductions. The house staff, kind cooks with weathered hands, cheerful gardeners whose laughter fills the hallways, a friendly driver who winks as he welcomes her. All share bits of their stories, inviting her to share hers too. Each handshake, each gentle word chips away at the ice of loneliness she wore for so long. Jessica presents her with a tiny gold bracelet, a simple band that glimmers against her skin. "A gift to remind you," Jessica says softly, "that you are precious." For Skalola, it's more than jewelry. It's a promise that she is treasured. Warmth pools in her chest, and she finds herself wanting to trust this new life. As the evening settles, Skalola is shown to her room, a space of her own, with sky-blue curtains fluttering in the breeze, books lined up on tidy shelves, and a small lamp casting golden circles on the walls. At first, she simply stands in the doorway, unsure if she is allowed to touch, to arrange, to claim anything as hers. But then Jessica encourages her. Try the bed, darling. It's yours. Hesitantly, Skolola sits, then bounces gently. The mattress is softer than anything she's ever known. She buries her face into the pillow and lets herself laugh, a sound bright and startled, as if happiness is still a strange visitor. Tonight, there will be no shouting on the streets, no fear of cold creeping into her dreams. That night, Skolola lies awake beneath clean, fragrant sheets, listening to the unfamiliar quiet. Images from that momentous day, courtroom voices, gentle touches, Jessica's sparkling eyes, Chief Agu's proud smile, play over and over in slow motion. Still, worry nibbles at the edges of her heart. Will her mother forgive her for accepting this new home, this new love? Will the people here grow tired of her, as others once did? The doubts hover above her like restless moths. In the hush of midnight, Jessica knocks softly and sits beside her. "You don't have to be afraid," she whispers. "You are wanted. That will never change." With that reassurance, Skalola's breathing slows, and for the first time in years, she drifts into a peaceful sleep. Morning arrives with birdsong and sunlight tumbling through the windows. Skolola wakes, almost disbelieving, eager to explore her new world. Breakfast is a family affair. Laughter and chatter around a long table, everyone eager for news of her first day at school. Jessica helps her braid her hair, securing the plaits with bright ribbons. Chief Agu tucks a brand new notebook into her bag and says, "Every story has a beginning. Today, you start writing yours." Skolola signals a shy thank you and is met with a chorus of encouragement from the staff. Hand in hand with Jessica, she sets out for the school gates, unsure if she fits this world, yet determined to be brave. The gates of Starlight Academy are vast, filled with gleaming uniforms and confident children, whose laughter echoes through pristine corridors. Sholola's steps falter as the stairs begin. Classmates notice her unfamiliar face and the uncertain way she carries herself. Some whisper, others giggle. Her heart stutters, remembering the sting of rejection. How easy it would be, she thinks, to fade into invisibility again. But Jessica squeezes her hand reassuringly. "You are smarter and stronger than you know," she whispers, then leaves her at the classroom door with a wink. Skolola gathers every ounce of courage and steps inside, determined to prove to herself and everyone that she belongs. Class begins with introductions, and Skolola's name sounds strange on her own lips, but there's pride in it now. The teacher, Miss Owalabi, offers a gentle smile and asks Skolola to share one thing about herself. The room falls silent, every eye turning toward her. Her voice trembles at first, but she speaks about how she loves stories, the ones told around fires or whispered in corners, the kind that keep hope flickering even on the darkest nights. Something in her honesty catches the class off guard. A boy in the front row grins and nods, as if he recognizes a kindred spirit. For the first time, Skolola feels the tension melt from her shoulders. Maybe here, her story won't be just about survival, but about growing and dreaming too. At lunchtime, Skolola sits alone, picking at her food, uncertain of the customary small talk. The cafeteria buzzes with cliques forming and laughter ricocheting off tiled walls. She's nearly ready to retreat into herself when a girl with a bright orange headband slides into the seat beside her and introduces herself as Tenny. "Hi, you're new, right? I love your braids," she says easily. The simple compliment startles Shalola, but she manages a small, grateful smile. Tenny is soon joined by a pair of twins, both eager and full of questions. Little by little, Shalola is drawn into their orbit, listening, giggling, and finding her laughter blending with theirs. What once seemed impossible, making friends, begins to feel like a real, shimmering hope. Over the next weeks, Skolola pours herself into the life of the school. She is determined not just to keep up, but to excel. Her resolve is fueled by every encouraging word from Chief Agu and Jessica. Every evening, she hurries home to recount her new experiences, a favorite lesson, a kind word from a classmate, a challenging assignment she finally understands. Chief Agu beams with pride as Skolola describes her first perfect score, while Jessica celebrates each small victory with joyful hugs and homemade treats. The nightmares from her past still come, but now the darkness is softer, pierced by the warmth of belonging and the certainty of love waiting at home. One afternoon, when Skolola's report card arrives, it's handed to her by Chief Agu himself. His eyes quickly scan the grades, lighting up with unspoken approval. "You have made us so proud," he tells Skolola, drawing her into a bear hug. "Grades matter, but courage matters more. You faced your fears." Skolola feels a wave of relief and pride. She suddenly remembers all the times she imagined moments like this, only to wake and find it was just a dream. Now, it's real. This family, the laughter at dinner time, the gentle teasing and bedtime stories read aloud. Skola realizes that love can be learned and family can be found, sometimes in the most unexpected places. Yet, beneath the joy of her new life, Skola's thoughts often circle back to her mother. On weekends, Jessica and Chief Agu take her to visit the hospital. Those visits are bittersweet. Skolola sits quietly beside her mother's bed, sometimes talking, sometimes simply holding her hand. There are days when her mother's eyes are clear, when she smiles, strokes Skolola's hair, and tells her stories from long ago. On harder days, her mother gazes out the window, lost in memories only she can see. Each visit leaves Skolola longing for the day when her mother might fully return. Step into this new world with her and see how far her little girl has come. The hospital visits teach Skolola as much about patience as they do about hope. On each trip, she brings paper and colored pencils, drawing scenes for her mother, flowers, cheerful faces, sometimes even the tall walls and blooming garden of her new home. She sits quietly while doctors and nurses encourage her mother with gentle words and delicate care. Sometimes just a smile from her mother is enough to make the hardships of healing feel worthwhile. Chief Agu waits in the hallway, always ready to hold Skolola when she leaves. wrapping her in an embrace that grounds her heart when it feels unsteady. Stories of Skolola's resilience ripple outward. The local newspaper runs an article celebrating Chief Agu's compassion and Skolola's journey, inspiring others in the community to help lost or disadvantaged children. Teachers praise Skolola's hard work and kindness, and Jessica organizes a charity event at the school, encouraging students to bring books for those who need them most. Skolola, once just another forgotten face, now stands at the center of conversations about hope, courage, and the power of second chances. Her story becomes a beacon for others, a living lesson in the way love can transform the hardest beginnings. Still, not every day is easy. Skolola sometimes doubts her place in this new world, worried that happiness will disappear without warning, just as it did before. She battles fears that old memories might creep back in or that her mother's healing will falter. But whenever she falters, Chief Agu and Jessica notice. They remind her that every person, no matter how strong they seem, needs time and support to heal. "You don't have to be perfect," Jessica says gently. "You just have to keep trying. We will be here however long it takes." These words settle in Skolola's heart, softening the edges of her self-doubt. One evening, Chief Agu gathers the family in the living room for a small celebration. Skolola has won a storytelling contest at school, capturing judges' hearts with a tale of courage and love. The whole household joins in, staff, relatives, and friends, sharing food and laughter. Skolola reads her story aloud, her voice steady and proud. As she finishes, applause fills the room, and someone shouts, "To Skolola, who proves that no dream is too wild for a brave heart." For the first time, Skolola feels her future stretching ahead of her, limitless, waiting to be shaped by her hands, her words, and her dreams. Later, as evening settles and the guests depart, Jessica and Skolola sit side by side on the garden bench under a sky sprinkled with stars. "Are you happy here?" Jessica asks quietly. Skolola smiles and nods, feeling the comfort of belonging deep in her bones. "I used to be afraid each day would be the last good day," she confesses. "But now, I think I have many good days to look forward to." Jessica squeezes her hand and replies, "You deserve happiness, and you've earned every bit of it." Skolola leans her head on Jessica's shoulder, listening to the hush of the night, at peace with her past and hopeful for whatever comes next. As weeks pass, Skolola grows more confident at school and at home. She becomes known as someone who listens, who offers kindness without judgment, and stands up for classmates who feel left behind. Her teachers begin asking her to help welcome new students, knowing that her empathy makes all the difference. Tenny is now her best friend, and together they explore the city on weekends, visiting museums and parks, laughing until their sides ache and their worries dissolve in shared joy. Slowly, her world becomes wider, filled with possibility. Lessons bloom. At night, Skolola sometimes writes letters she never sends, words for her mother, for the little girl she used to be, for the friends she left behind on the streets. The act of writing soothes her, It lets her gather the scattered pieces of memory and stitch them into something whole. Jessica finds some of these letters, left forgotten under Skolola's pillow, and she reads them with tears in her eyes. "Your story will help many people someday," she says, hugging Shalola close. Shalola realizes that her pain has not only shaped her, but given her the courage to carry others through their own storms. One day, the news arrives that Skolola's mother is well enough to leave the hospital. The reunion is quieter than Skolola imagined. A few tears, a gentle clasp of hands, silent gratitude for all that has changed. Skolola shares her drawings and stories, showing her mother the world she now belongs to. Chief Agu and Jessica welcome her mother with kindness and respect, and soon the two families are blended into one. Skolola's mother spends afternoons in the garden, healing in sunshine, surrounded by people who care. As time passes, Skolola's old fears begin to fade. She sees that even the deepest wounds can heal when held with compassion. She grows even more certain that her story, once defined by hardship and longing, now flourishes in connection, hope, and generosity. Shalola helps Jessica and the school create a program for street children, becoming a mentor to those who still live the life she left behind. Her voice carries weight. When she speaks, people listen, and possibilities bloom in unlikely places. On the anniversary of her adoption, Skolola stands before her friends and family in the Agu garden, reading from the notebook Chief Agu gave her on her first day. Her story, spilled out in laughter and tears, is met with cheers and applause. Shalola closes her eyes and says a silent thank you for every kindness, every chance, every person who saw her, not as a burden, but as a gift. Her heart, once guarded and afraid, is now open and full. She knows the journey is not over. There will still be hardships and losses, but she faces tomorrow with faith and courage. Sholola's journey from street to family inspires everyone around her, showing that no matter where you begin, love can lead you home. Life settles into a new rhythm, gentle and steady. Sholola excels in her studies, encouraged by her teachers and inspired by the hope she now carries. Her friendship with Tenny grows deeper. The two confide in each other about dreams, fears, and the future. At home, Skolola helps her mother in the kitchen, learning how to cook family recipes and listening to stories of the past. Lessons bloom. Sometimes they laugh at old memories, and sometimes tears come, healing tears, rooted in love and forgiveness. Chief Agu and Jessica continue to support Skolola's growth, reminding her always that her voice matters. Holidays bring celebration and warmth. Shalola experiences her first Christmas with a family. Gifts under the tree, music filling every room, and the joy of giving as well as receiving. She crafts cards for each member of the household, signing them with all my heart. Her mother joins in the festivities, still a little shy, but comforted by acceptance. For Shalola, these moments are precious. They are proof that happiness can be found even after the longest storms, and that family is built from both giving and receiving love. A new term begins at school, and Shalola is chosen to lead the class in a cultural project. She pitches an idea to collect stories from children living on the streets, preserving their voices. With Jessica's help, Skalola organizes visits, interviews, and art exhibitions showcasing the resilience of those who have known hardship. Lessons bloom. The project earns the attention of local media, and Skalola is asked to speak at a community gathering. Her words move the audience, highlighting the need for compassion and support. She realizes that her journey is not only her own, but part of a much bigger story. The story of everyone seeking hope. As her influence grows, Skalola is invited to participate in a panel discussion about children's rights. She sits on stage beside lawyers, activists, and educators, sharing her experiences. "If I could change one thing," Skalola says to the crowd, "it would be to remind everyone that every child matters. Every story matters." Her courage and clarity leave a lasting impression. Chief Agu and Jessica are among the proud spectators, knowing that Skalola's voice will help shape a kinder, more just world. Late one evening, Skalola writes in her notebook by the window, moonlight silvering the pages. She lists dreams for her future: university, helping more children, one day traveling beyond her city. She pauses, remembering the first day she arrived at the Agu house, full of doubt and longing, and marvels at how far she has come. Shalola's heart aches for those still waiting for a chance, and she vows to never stop reaching out, never stop believing in the power of family, hope, and love. The journey continues, guided by courage, her own, and the courage of those who loved her enough to call her family.